Hello everyone, it's Darkseeker here, bringing you an arena video. Now, what I'll be focusing on is some of my best arena moments going back over the last month or so. And this video is going to be split up into short parts that highlight those moments. Now, we're starting off in our first little clip featuring a Paladin opponent. And what was really funny about this game was, as I started to take control of the board, he was not happy about it and would constantly emote by saying justice demands retribution. So it's about to begin. I just found it quite funny. His sea giant is contesting my ogre, and he has a taunt, the evil heckler. However, in this arena draft, I was able to get Coghammer, which is really good. And look, it goes on the ogre. Yeah, and as you can see, my RNG there, the shield and the taunt going on the ogre. It could have gone on the spider. It could have gone on the 1-1, but it went on the ogre, and he's not happy about it. Okay, the rope is burning, so I need to make these trades. So now my ogre kills the sea giant and stays alive. I was contemplating taunting, but it was fine. I didn't need to taunt. And there he goes. Look at him. He's emoting away. He's really unhappy about this. Really unhappy. Murloc Knight is really good if you're ahead on the board. Although those juggles were pretty decent for him, actually. Yeah, those were not bad juggles at all. And just when things were looking bad because of his Murloc Knight and the juggler, well, there's my cultist. And he's not happy about it. So yeah, Murloc Knight, really good if you're ahead. He's not ahead on the board though. So I'm able to kill his Murloc Knight, make trades, draw a card. Right, let's hope it hits something. Yep, yes it does. More luck, more RNG for me. I think he's given up. Oh no, I thought he'd given up emoting. No, he clearly has not. So I have to respond with, I am sorry. Goldshy Footman. Yeah, that's not going to do it, unfortunately. He's still very unhappy. In situations like this, you'd be tempted to squelch your opponent. I just find it too entertaining to do that. So, yeah, I think this game's pretty much over. Oh yeah, there is a taunt in the way. There is a taunt in the way. Right, what's the most efficient way of clearing? Yeah. Use the lowest attack minion. Go face. And there we go. Will he give us one more emote? No, he won't. Okay, and that seals it. So yeah, Paladin versus Paladin in that particular arena run. Yeah, interesting game. That deck is pretty interesting. Double Murloc Knight in that deck. Kodo Rider. Yeah, not a bad deck. Okay, this game now, moving on in this particular arena run, it's a top deck war against another Paladin. So we start off with me having no cards in hand. He's playing out his cards. You can see his hero power. His hero power only costs 1. Unstable Ghoul essentially clears my board, and that was a really good pickup for him. And in a situation like that, you're sort of thinking to yourself, well, it's over, isn't it? Because my board has just been eliminated. I've just played a 5-2. That's a 5 attack, 2 health minion that, look, just dies instantly. That's a terrible card. Unfortunately, I didn't really have much of a choice in terms of the drafting process. I had to pick it. But as you can see, I'm behind now on the board. His hero power costs 1, which is not terribly relevant, I guess, given that we are heading to the stage of the game where we are top decking. Right, I had no choice. I have to get the Argent Protector on the board, put up a Divine Shield, and get board presence. I had no choice there. Had to do it. The question now is, he's got 3 cards in hand. Clearly he has the advantage. What is he going to play? And what cards will he hold back? And if he's holding back, what can I infer? Okay, so one of the cards was a spare part, so that's fine.
I am freed from the curse.
Okay, now will he play another card, or will he just hero power? He's hero powering, so hero powering every turn is a good thing. Oh, target dummy. Okay. That's not too bad, actually, because I've got... Okay, so I've got the charging Murloc there, the Bluegill Warrior. And I get to hero power too. Don't you just love the Murloc sound effects? Absolutely hilarious. Do they all make the same sound effects when they come down? Never thought to listen. Anyway, so... His 2/6 contests everything on my board. Okay, Abusive Sergeant. But he's going face. Interesting. Okay, I can understand that. He wants to take advantage of the damage. Boulder Fist Ogre, really strong here. Really strong. So I can kill off the 2/1 and the 1/1. Try and make the trades as efficient as possible. The Ogre will contest the 2/6, and oh, equality. Wow, okay. Interesting. Well, that's one way of killing an Ogre. And there he goes, he floods the board. And yeah, it's not a board flood, but in the context of where we are in this particular point of time, it is a board flood, because how do I deal with a 4/4 and a 2/2? So, okay, maybe I should have played the Flame Juggler first. Maybe that was a misplay, because then maybe I could have killed the 4/3 by attacking him with my minion afterwards. So I shouldn't have traded first time. I don't know. I wanted to maximise the chance of the Flame Juggle hitting the 4/3. So anyway, Recruiter, it's a pretty good card. The Worgen is a threat, is a ridiculous threat, so we need to get rid of it. Now, the Recruiter will let me flood the board with 2/2s over time if it goes uncontested. I could kill the 4/3 Silverhand Knight and hope that he doesn't use the Worgen to enable Wind Fury. However, is that a risk worth taking? And this is quite a difficult turn for me now. Quite a difficult turn. I'm going to kill the Worgen. The Wind Fury is just too scary. In case we don't know what card he'll play next, you see. He could play a Taunt, a Sludge Belcher, and then use the Worgen Wind Fury attack for the next 2 or 3 turns. And anyway, so he makes the trade for me. That's fine. That's good. Okay, Wild Pyromancer. So he attacks into my recruit. Yeah, because I'm just going to make the trade anyway. Interesting. Oh, okay. Not bad, I guess. Oh, I can see the logic. I could have used a 1/1 to trade in to his a 2/1/1s to trade into his Pyromancer. Anyway. Nexus-Champion. Huh. 8/5. So we need to clear that. 8 attack could be devastating. If it hits my face for 2 turns, I'm dead. Alright. Your mother was a Murloc. So there's the taunt.
Reporting for duty.
They all bend to my command.
Right. Taunting the 4/6. Not good for me. Because I lose my 5/4.
Reporting for duty.
Question is, do I use Time Rewinder now on the 2/3 and get an extra board? No, it's not worth it. Time Rewinder there will keep, because it could prove worthwhile. Argent Protector, interesting.
Reporting for duty.
Huh. Okay, Questing Adventurer. It's now or never, I think. So, we're going to use the 2/3. Kill his 2/2. Bring it back to hand. Get a buff on the Questing Adventurer. Play it again. Get the second buff on the Questing Adventurer. There we go. It's a 4/4. That's really good. That's a really strong board. The question is, what does he have to beat that board?
Is this the fishing tournament?
Oh. And he gets the heal. And he's got a 5/5 on board.
Reporting for duty.
Alright, trades get made. And there's Alexstrasza. So in this run, I drafted Alexstrasza. She can be very slow, unfortunately. She costs 9, and if she gets stuck in the opening hand, she's pretty useless. But in this case, she brings life. Actually, she's taking away his life. I'm going to take the gamble that he can't kill me on this next turn with 6 attack on board. And I'm going to take the gamble here that, well, it's not a gamble, it's almost a certainty that he can't kill Alexstrasza. Interesting. So he gets a taunt, and the taunt's going to save him for a turn. Actually, no, it's not. Seal of Champions at the right time. So he thought, yeah, I get my taunt. I live for one more turn. No, you don't. Seal of Champions seals the deal, and that was a long, drawn-out game. But Alexstrasza managed to win it. He healed, doesn't matter. I play Alexstrasza. He taunts, doesn't matter. Seal of Champions. Really good. Okay, this next game. Ragnaros. I have Ragnaros in my deck. As just going to take a quick look at it. It's a mage arena. And you can see double polymorph, double sorcerer's apprentice in there, 1 water elemental, double flame cannon, 1 fireball. It's not a bad deck, you know. And now here come the choices involving legendaries. And we've got Cairn, Sylvanas, and Rag. Now, Cairn is really good because of the death rattle. Summon a 4/5 minion, that's not bad. It's 6 costs, so it's tremendous value in arena. Sylvanas is even better value because if she dies, she can steal an enemy minion. And if you time it correctly, you can get something really nice, really juicy, something really big to swing the tide of the game. Unfortunately, Sylvanas is dependent on you having something to steal. If you don't have anything to steal, she's just a 5/5 body, really, for 6. Ragnaros, an 8/8 body. He can't attack, but he will do 8 damage to a random enemy at the end of my turn. Now, he is quite slow in the context of arena, because he costs 8, but he does 8 damage, and if he gets put down on a board, he can single-handedly win you the game. If your opponent can't deal with him, alternatively, they will throw everything they have, and I mean everything, including the kitchen sink, in order to take down Rag, because he is a force to be reckoned with. So the debate here really is between Sylvanas and Ragnaros. Sylvanas letting you steal a minion, Ragnaros just punching 8 damage into your opponent's minions or their face at the end of the turn. We go with Ragnaros, and that rounds us out quite nicely. There's also a Force Tank Max in this deck, so the deck has some good early game, and it has some good late game. Now, we start off here against a Hunter. Notice what the Hunter is doing. The hunter is hero powering constantly. Okay, hero powering constantly.
Take this blade.
And at this stage in the game, that's what you do. When you're top decking, you need, in the later stages of the game, you need to hero power. However, I have an opportunity here. I can play Rag, or I can play the Frostwolf. And we play Ragnaros. 8 damage to the face on an empty board. It is too good to pass up. He's thinking now, clearly. How do you deal with Ragnaros? He'd need a beast, I guess, into a double KC. He would need Unleash the Hounds into kill command. On an empty board, Rag is difficult to beat. That's one way of beating Rag, and the secret is another. Well, it's not, because you can't attack with Rag, so the secret doesn't do much here. However, his 9/9 Crusher will contest Rag if he decides to attack with it. Now, I can't kill the 9/9, so I'm going to test to see what trap it is. If it was Bear Trap, I would have then used the 2/3 and the ping. It's not freezing.
Take this blade.
It must be Snake Trap. So we're not going to attack the Crusher. Oh no! Oh no, it's Snipe. Oh wow, okay. Right, die insect, says Ragnaros, and there is the victory. There's the victory against the Hunter. Wow. Yeah, so that was game 1 in that series. Okay, heading into another game here. And my opponent does something quite interesting. It's a Shaman. Now, look at the Shaman's board. He's got a 4/6 comparative to my 5/5. And now, I've got to make a decision here. I can't polymorph the 4/6. It's a Spectral Knight. It cannot be targeted by spells. I can Force Tank Max, or I can Bomb Lobber, but what does a Bomb Lobber actually do here? It may kill the 0/2 totem. Well, that's not value. It may hit into the 4/6, which I can then attack with the 5/5, but that's using 2 minions to kill 1. So instead, we're going to go with the Ragnaros option. Okay, I was hoping it would kill the 4/6. It did not. The gamble didn't pay off. How is he going to deal with Ragnaros then? The 4/6 does not do it. In fact, the 4/6 can't kill the 5/5.
Your magic shall not save you.
Wow, Spellbreaker. You silenced Ragnaros. And do you know what? In the grand scheme of things, that's really good for me. Why would you silence Rag? I can now use him to target face, or to make specific trades with minions that I choose. This is quite interesting. Now, Bomb Lobber gets value, special delivery. Notice I did not play my 2-drop, and the reason for that is because I fear Mind Control Tech. That's one way of the Shaman swinging back in. If he were to steal the 5/5 or Rag, it'd be really bad. So Rag dies a heroic death there. Don't you love Ragnaros' sound effect when he dies? It's hard to describe. It's sort of like a a painful moan as he withers off into not existing anymore. It's a lot of fun. 12 damage, 13, 40, 50. Yeah, that's it. 15 damage on board, plus the hero power. Nope. It was too much for him. So Ragnaros really was the game winner there, the MVP. He came around just in time, and he helped me to win that game. So, yeah, a lot of fun with Rag. Okay, so we're heading into our next game. Now, this game it looked impossible to win. it looked like the odds were against me, and it looked like I didn't have a chance. So we're going to watch this game in full, and I think it's a good demonstration of how to come back from a situation that looks tough at the beginning of the game. And that situation, which sort of gives you a little shock, occurs on turn 2 for my opponent. Opening hand here looks pretty good. Got 2 drops. I'd like a 3-drop. So unfortunately we don't have that, but it's okay. It could be worse. I could have drawn into all of my late game, for instance, and strangely in Arena that's been happening to me more and more often. My mulligans have been terrible. Even though I've had enough 2-drops in my draft, I've been drawing into just terrible opening hands with mid-game 5-drops, 6-drops, 4-drops. Maybe the odd 3-drop, but no 1s and no 2s, and that's really hurt me in Arena. But that's the luck aspect of Hearthstone, or the RNG aspect, I suppose. It's randomized, isn't it? Or you'd like to think it's randomized. Okay, several choices here. I could drop the Gilblin Stalker. It's a stealth 2/3. It contests the 2/1, or I can simply ping. Need to think about what's more efficient here. If I drop the Stalker and I trade it into the 2/1, it will die to hero power on the following turn. But it's board presence. However, the ping is very efficient and it gets rid of the minion now. So, difficult decision to make. The fallen hero just dies trading into the 2/1. Right, so I'm going to go with the Stalker because I want something on the board. Okay, something. I think most players would have pinged, but I'm going to go with the Stalker because it has 3 health. Right, innovate. What are you going to do? Oh, look, double innovate. And the coin, really? Ancient of Lore. This is feeling like a constructed game. This is what druids do on turn 2 on the ladder. They coin out something ridiculous, like an Ancient of Lore. Or the other day for me, when I faced a druid with my Paladin, it was they coined out Sludge Belcher on turn 2. I couldn't recover after that. I lost because the Belcher was just too much to handle. And this is a 5/5 minion. However, I can contest it with what I have on the board. If he hero powers here, that's okay, because it means he's not going to play anything. Now the question is, will he trade or will he go face? He trades. The Worgen was very threatening because of Wind Fury. I could ping my own Worgen and do 8 damage, is it, to the face? And the Fallen Hero proving his worth here. 2 damage hero power takes down that turn 2 Ancient of Lore. Now, turn 4 for him, he has plenty of cards in hand because he was able to draw cards using the Ancient of Lore on turn 2. So I'd give the advantage in this game to the Druid. Now, when you see a turn 2 play with double innovate coin into a big minion, usually it puts you off kilter. It just shocks you a little bit and really makes you reevaluate your position in that particular game. Because you're shocked and you're thinking, how do I come back from this? Psychologically, you're feeling bad. So there I was able to get a clean kill on the Trog. Maiden of the Lake. Don't know what to think of this card. Sure, the hero power becomes cheaper, but it's only got 2 attack. But it's got 6 health, so it can tank a couple of attacks.
Bathe in flames.
But that 2/5 can tank a lot too.
Another night on the
Oh, Druid of the Saber. This really is looking like constructed. That's bad. Okay, we can use our mana efficiently. The Dark Iron Dwarf will not let us kill the 2/5. I mean, we could Dark Iron Dwarf and ping actually. That may be better. That's using our mana efficiently. And
This
we really want to remove a minion here. So... The Frost Elemental there will be good for a bigger minion in the later game. Freezing that, I think that'd be better. So let's keep the Frost Ellie hidden for now. Let's let him think he's safe to play big things. But particularly in the late game, the Frost Ellie is worthwhile because if you have lethal, you can freeze a minion on your opponent's board. So on their following turn, they can't trade into your board, and then on your next turn, you have lethal. So Frost Ellie is a game-winning card, and in the past, I've used it to get 12 wins in a series of games, and definitely in more than one game. It's become a game-winning card. Okay, the 5/6 Yeti.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Sorcerer's Apprentice there, letting me polymorph and ping on the same turn. Polymorph on the Yeti was worthwhile. Definitely worthwhile. Because it was too threatening. And the Apprentice is making my spells cheaper, so I was able to polymorph. I do have the Dragon's Breath, which is really good for later on. I have False Tank Max for next turn. It's a big threat. A very big threat. He would need a big minion to answer the false tank or throw lots of small minions into it. So we have options in our hand, and let's reconsider for a minute. We started off this game panicking based on turn 2. And it wouldn't surprise me if this druid goes on to get 12 wins with this deck. If he gets plays like that in his games, I really wouldn't surprise me. But then again, how likely is it that you get innovate, coin, Ancient of Lore? It's actually quite unlikely statistically, I think, given that you've got 30 cards in your deck. I think it's quite unlikely. Anyway, Bomb Lobber. Value time. So there's the special delivery. And there's a friend of mine, Fraser Blade, telling me that my health is in good shape. Yes, against the druid it is. If this guy has got Ancient of Lore, double innovate coin, and what are the chances that he's got Force of Nature Savage Roar in this deck? So 28 health is really good. It means I don't die to combo in this game. Okay, swipe. It's okay. Clears a couple of minions there with the hero power. Yeah, so there is of course Ragnaros in this deck. Not drawn into him yet. He'd be really good right about now on an empty board. He'd be really good. We've seen a swipe. So board clear mechanics have been used. So it'd be really good. But no. Actually, Force Tank Max, I'd argue, is just as good as Ragnaros in this context. Because of the Divine Shield, it's going to absorb an attack, an extra attack. And I think that's really worthwhile. Fencing Coach could be pretty good on turn 10 with the Frost Ellie.
Let's negotiate. You concede, and I'll let you live.
Oh, Nexus-Champion. This guy's got legendaries, like me. And that's the interesting thing with Arena recently. I've just been facing nothing but legendaries in various games. Sometimes every couple of games I face a legendary. And that's really been quite disconcerting. There must be something. Oh wow, he actually got humility out of Saraad. He got the spell, pretty much the spell he needed. Wow, now I could be in a lot of trouble because Saraad is a real threat. It's just going to feed him spells. So I've got to kill Saraad off somehow. Need to think of the best way of doing that. So we make the trade first. So Dragon's Breath is cheaper. That's going to allow us to ping and play the chicken, or the Lost Tall Strider, as it's actually called. I like to call it the chicken. Anyway, as I was saying earlier, I think there must be something in the games now where, in the drafting process, where legendaries have a higher chance of being drafted or being offered. Because prior to TGT, I wouldn't see legendaries anywhere near as often. Post TGT, I'm seeing far more legendaries in my games. Far more. I wish I'd written down the stats, but it's much more frequent, at least in my experience, than it was pre-TGT. So I'd be curious to see if there are any official stats out there that look at the drafting processes. I know Hearth Arena, they track stats. And I think it may have been mentioned at some point recently that there are more legendaries being drafted or being offered. So I'm not sure what to think about that. I think they can ruin the game at points. If you're somebody that's maintained board control and played perfectly for the first 8 to 10 turns, and then your opponent drops something ridiculous and you just can never recover because that legendary's utility is so strong. So sometimes I mean, I think they ruin the game. If you're playing the legendary, though, from your perspective, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Alright. I don't think we can lose this game now. I think with the 6/6 Frostwolf Warlord, I think we're okay. I think we're in a really good position.
For a little while, I pack a big punch.
That's not going to do it. Hero power is not going to do it. Very easy for me to kill his 1/2 micro machine with the 1/5 and a ping. So that's fine. Will he play that other card? I'm curious. What is that other card? No, he doesn't play it. Okay, so the fencing coach makes my hero power cost 0. That doesn't do anything here, unfortunately. Can't really take advantage of it. That's the problem of playing fencing coach in the late game. You want to play it in the early game, because that's where the 0 cost hero power gets value, because you've got limited mana, you play other minions, and then you play a 0 cost hero power. Anyway, need to decide on trades here. And that's what I was talking about earlier. The Frost Elemental freezes a minion and it sets up lethal for next turn because your opponent can't use that minion to make trades. That's the value of Frost Elemental, and I think ultimately the best use of Frost Elemental in a game. Notice there I pinged the 3/1. The reason I did that is if he has some way of clearing my board somehow, I'd want the opportunity of pinging it next turn to kill it. Okay, so the charging tree. Of course he has a charging tree, you know. Knife Juggler does nothing. The game is essentially over then, I think. He'll survive another turn because of his armor. He's at 14 health, effectively. And if I can count correctly, I have 13 damage next turn. Oh no, it's over. Top deck. Top deck fireball. And well played. And there we go. Okay, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. Do look out for the second video, because in the second video, we'll be looking at a constant stream of legendaries that I had to face.